Welcome to the Own It Show. I'm so excited to be here with Miss Alli Gage, and we will be talking today about the 10X rule. And why I wanted to speak about this today is because it's one of my favorite books. I love Grant Cardone, and he is all about, making what we think is impossible possible and to show people what is possible. I love Undercover Billionaire. Haven't finished his full series yet, but it just helps people see what is possible. And I'm all about living in possibility. So I'm so excited to be here. For those of you that don't know me yet, I am a high performance coach and business coach, and I help entrepreneurs own their lives through a full holistic coaching and putting the business strategies in place so they can scale and build a life they love. And Alli is one of our coaches in our Own It Mastermind programs, and she is just an exceptional human being. And I will let her introduce herself. So Alli, tell everyone all about yourself.
Hi, thanks, Heather, and thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. 10X is one of my favorite books too. I had actually just read it for the first time at the beginning of this year, and I think I've read it about 4 times now. Love it, love it, love it. So as Heather mentioned, my name is Alli Gage. I'm a management consultant, entrepreneur, business coach, and speaker, and I help entrepreneurs to build and grow businesses that will support their dream lives through consulting, coaching, or building a business together.
Love that. And we will be just reviewing our favorite 3 tips and tricks, but we also attended virtually this year the 10X conference. So we will also be sharing our favorite speaker and our favorite tips from that. So today is going to be filled with so much goodness. So maybe you might even want to get a pen and a piece of paper, or maybe you might want to buy this book. So as you know, I'm a bookworm and I love to talk about books. So we're going to just do a quick recap of the actual 10 rules that he talks about in the book. So number 1, aim 10 times higher, do 10 times more, and don't limit your scope of your goals. Huge goals, more action, more insurance of your success. Number 2, approach success as your duty and obligation. Alli's going to talk about this after. Number 3, my favorite, stop being a victim. Assume responsibility for everything. And I will be talking about that after. Reject average. Talking about that after too. Do not compete, dominate. Overcommit and obsess and follow through. Use your fear as fuel for action. Make it that everybody knows your name. Act as successful at all times. And successful people play by their own rules. So, are you ready to play by your own rules? Let's dive deep into these 10 tips, and I'm going to start with one of my favorite quotes. Become obsessed about what you want, or you will become obsessed with the excuses and reasons of why you don't have it. Grant Cardone. So let's first start with that. So his first book that I read was Be Obsessed or Be Average. And Alli, at any time you want to pipe in and add anything, you just go right ahead.
I'll just jump in. You know me.
Yeah, awesome. So we want to think about this. Be obsessed or be average. So thing is, we're always thinking about thoughts in our mind. There's always a story. There's always something going on in there. So if we pause and think for a second, so be obsessed, we're going to be obsessed in repeating a story about something. So are you repeating the story about what life looks like when you reach your goal and things are good? Or what it's going to look like when you close that client today? Or are you being obsessed about the impact of what's going to happen if you don't close that client today? About your current circumstances and results, and about the past and the reasons you're like, I would love to grow a business. I just don't have time. And you're obsessed with telling everybody that. But guess what the truth is? You don't find the time, you make the time, and you're the only reason you are not successful. You're standing in your own way. I understand. Yeah, there's going to be struggles. There's going to be growth. You're going to have to overcome mountains along the way, but you only fail when you quit. So be obsessed with what you want, or you're going to be obsessed about telling everyone the story about why you don't have it.
Mm-hmm. That's so important. And just to add to that really quickly, Heather, what people don't realize too is that all action requires time and energy. So whether you're taking that massive action like you're talking about taking normal levels of action or doing nothing, it's still going to take you time and energy. Like you said, you're going to spend your time and energy explaining the excuses. It's all going to take all time and energy. You might as well go for the massive action. Come on.
Love that. Absolutely. So let's all get in massive action today. And here's my first tip. Stop being a victim. So he talks about assuming responsibility. So we can have a victim mentality, and I'm going to hashtag this, or we can own it, right? So we have a victim or an own it mentality. Okay. So when we own it, we take responsibility for everything in our life. We know that nothing happens to us. It happens because of us. So I'm listening to an Abraham Hicks audio the other day, and the guy comes on and he says, I keep having these people show up in my life with bad energy. They're negative, they complain, let's think about it right now. Like, a lot of people are super scared, and he keeps having these people show up in his life. And he's like, now, are they showing up because, whatever circumstances are in the world, or are they showing up because of me, because my energy and my attraction? And her answer is like, attraction, attraction, attraction. So yes, you're responsible for whatever shows up in your life because you attracted it. Now, Grant Cardone isn't all about the law of attraction and all those things. He's about get shit done and take action. But you take it in the action of expectancy, right? So we are either being a victim and blaming everyone else around us. So I can't earn money because this happened in the world. Well, the truth is, in the recession, in the Great Recession, the most millionaires were born. Mm-hmm. So you had people who lived in excuses and were obsessed with their excuses. And then you had people who were obsessed with taking massive action and built massive global empires. So you can be one or the other. So assume responsibility for everything, guys. That's my number one tip. Alli, what's your number one tip or tip from the book you want to discuss?
I would say, just kind of in relation to you, is I love that Grant talks about success being your obligation and your duty. And I think that this is really cool. I'm going to read you guys a quote. And he says, if you don't consider success your duty, if you don't consider it your duty to live up to your potential, meet that success, then you simply won't. And it's so true, because there's this quote, we have this idea like success isn't everything, right? You've heard this. And Grant says, of course it isn't. Who said that it has to be everything? Like, of course it isn't everything. But he's not just talking about, say, financial success. He's talking about success in every area of your life, relationships, spiritually, and all of these things. And it really is, when you look at it as your obligation and as your duty, then that is going to allow you to take more actions, get into that own it mindset, right? Where you're not having excuses. And guys, it feels better because you're actually empowered. It may seem scary at first to take responsibility for every area of your life and realize, like, the good, the bad, the ugly, that was me. That was me. I caused that in some way, shape, or form. It's here because of me. And it sucks at first. However, it is also the most empowering thing, because guess what? If it was all you, then you can create something different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when we realize, I had these negative thoughts earlier, and then that person showed up and like elicited that negative behavior that I was looking at or thinking about earlier. And then you can put two and two together. So we don't want to even make ourselves bad and wrong. We can be like, okay, cool. I see that showed up. I wonder what I thought or did earlier that would have that show up in my life later. So let me just observe it and change it and decide what I would prefer. Well, I'd really prefer to be surrounded by positive people who make other people feel good, who think for themselves, because 95% of the population doesn't think. They think, but they just have automated auto-suggestion going on in their mind, and they've been programmed by society. Guess what? That might be you. So time you start thinking. And I would just prefer that. And then I focus on that. And then next thing I know, I'm connected with this incredible new human being who's just like that. And all these incredible opportunities come up. But we must decide what we prefer first and take full responsibility for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
My next is to reject average. So I have this thing. There's nothing wrong with average, right? Cool. Awesome. You are where you are. I actually just want to come back to something. And Alli was talking about the success before. I want you guys to understand, as Bob Proctor says, success is a progressive realization of a goal. So we also often will see, like, I would prefer to be here, but I'm here, so I'm not successful. Right? And then we make ourselves bad and wrong, and we aren't inspired to take any action. And society said you should be a multimillionaire and a doctor, but guess what? Most doctors aren't multimillionaires, just the entrepreneurs, unless they went and built a business or invested their money. It's not from being a doctor. They do that being a doctor because they love it. Pardon?
Oh, I just said side note that all the doctors are not. Oh, sorry, I said side note that doctors aren't all millionaires.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Newsflash.
Yeah, side note, right? So we actually want to be in the progressive realization of our goal. So if we have a goal or an aim, or we're going somewhere and we are farther than we were before, you're successful, guys. So like, give yourself a pat on the back and start to love yourself where you are and what you're up to and just how you've gotten to where you are. But staying there doesn't work. So we need to reject the average. You are the sum. It's the average of the people you surround yourself with, right? So if you're the average of the people you surround yourself with and you want different results, you need to start hanging around with different people, or you need to be the person who transforms and has that ripple effect in your community. So currently, if you do a job, have an income or a home like a majority of the population, you're average. And that's cool, because it can be changed. But you need to reject that. You're meant for more. That's like saying to all your gifts and your abilities, like, thanks God, but I'm not even going to try. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not going to get you the true life you deserve. So reject the average and go for greatness. Take it away, Alli.
Yeah, that's so important. I think definitely, I love that, Heather. The second tip for me that I loved with this book is, obviously it's called 10X, so it's like 10Xing your goals, but he also talks about how typically things take 10 times more effort, energy, time, money, and growth to actually get to too than what we had originally planned. And I think this really sets a lot of people up for failure, right? If we don't realize just the amount of effort something's going to take. You know, a lot of times people jump in and, you know, hey, I'm going to do something new. And if they don't see results in maybe a week or 2 weeks or a month, hey, oh, it didn't work, I'm out. Well, if we have more realistic expectations, if we set that bar higher, first off, he always says, hey, if you're going for either 100,000 or 1 million, which goal do you want to fall short on? Right? So first off, there's no problem really having that 10X goal. It's only going to make you go further than you would have gone anyways. I'd rather, personally, definitely rather fall short of a $1 million goal versus a $100,000 goal, personally. And when you know that have that higher goal, 10X the effort, the actions, all of those things will just make you more likely to be successful, right? If you're doing the actions, you're doing the do, you'll get there. You just can't quit. Like you said, the biggest thing, Heather, I think you said I love is, you only fail when you quit, guys. That's it. And that's on you. Like, that's up to us, each and every one of us. That's totally 100% within our control.
And I want to touch on that a bit too, because I watched this video the other day, and our mind thinks in pictures, so this helps, right? So there's two guys and they start on either side and they're digging for diamonds. So they both start digging. The one doesn't find any, so he moves to the next spot and starts digging. And this other guy just keeps digging. This guy doesn't find any, so he moves to the next spot. And the other guy keeps digging. And below, in his same hole, his one spot, his one thing, that's a great book, his one thing, he gets to the bottom and he finds the diamonds. But this person tried 10 things and never got any diamonds, because they did everything half-assed. They weren't fully committed. They never stopped to decide what it is they truly want and make the clarity around their goal. That's why they're hopping from, network marketing company to network marketing company, to idea to idea, to business, a job to job, right? They don't actually know what they want. So that's what we do here in Own It Empire. We help you create the clarity around what it is you want, and then make a business out of it that you build around your lifestyle. So you don't get there and go, crap, I don't like this. This doesn't give me the life that I want. And I'm not happy and fulfilled. And it's not even remotely reaching my full potential. So you got to create that clarity and start from the get-go. And we've just you've got to reject the average and giving up. That's it. That's it. Just reject the giving up. So just keep digging, but make sure the place you're digging is the place that's going to give you your gold, your diamonds, the one that leaves you fulfilled, your purpose and what you came here to do. Just want to add that in. Anything else there, Alli?
No, and yeah, that's so important, I think, because like you said, Heather, a lot of times we're either switching or we're doing too many things and we're not focused. And knowing what, like getting crystal clear on what you want to create and what that's going to look like in the future is important, because as we know, we've seen so many entrepreneurs that they create these businesses that it's just another job. If you can't leave your business for 2 weeks, you've created another job, right? So really getting clear on what you want and what that long-term vision is allows you to actually create it. And like you said, then you don't get there and you're like, shit, this is not what I thought success would look or feel like. Well, because you didn't really have a clear picture. So huge, huge, very important point.
Love, love, love that. And my final tip from the 10X book is use your fear as action. So I love this. So our nervous system will literally put us in freeze mode. So we will freeze, we will physically freeze. So you will stop taking action. So you've had this business idea for so long, but you have no clients. Why do you have no clients? Because you have a story, reason, excuse that you're obsessed with. Well, I need a website first. I need a lead funnel first. I need to hire, a VA first. You don't need to do anything except go ask people to buy your service. So you living in your excuses. So now this is your fear. I want you to be afraid of what life's going to look like if you don't smarten the F up and you don't make a difference and you don't make a change. Be obsessed with that, the impact of what life's going to look like if you don't make a difference. So use your fear as action. I love the saying, eat the frog. So we actually think that like this fear is this thing over there, but as soon as we go and get into action, all of a sudden that fear goes away. We start to pick up momentum. We said we were going to go offer the business to 3 people, and now we've offered it to 10, and we're still going, and we just signed 9 people into our company, and the momentum goes. But that's because you got up and you did what scared you the most first. You built your self-confidence, you picked up the momentum, and you didn't sit in freeze mode and fear all day. And sometimes that goes for weeks. You're like, hey, you have a business? Awesome. How many sales did you make this month? Great. How many people did you ask? Okay, that's not even 1 a day. Okay. And guys, I'm not perfect. I've been here. I've been in the freeze mode. We've all been there. And this happens a lot when we really start to 10x our results, when we start to step into the next version of ourselves. This is when we start to self-sabotage, and our negative limiting beliefs and stories and old versions of us come up and just say, it's not going to work anyway, so why would you do it? But I need you to push those stories aside and use that fear as fuel to take action, and that voice that tells you you can't, so that you can turn around and say, I told you so. But you don't want to turn around a year from now and say, oh, fear, you were right. Because that fear was just a voice in your head, which means you defeated you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's so key. I have a saying in my business where action cures everything. If you're frozen, you're not getting results, you're not confident, anything, just, you got to get to work, you got to do it. And like you said, do the things that scare you the most, because those are the things that are going to push you the furthest. Those are what is going to give you the results. That's our comfort zone trying to hold us in, and that that's exactly where you need to be working and pushing. And don't be afraid to be obsessed, because obsession is not, what does Grant say? It's not a disease, it's a gift. Which is amazing, because if you can stay focused and in action on something long enough, that's what gives you success. And that's why it's a gift. We've been programmed to think that obsession is a bad thing. No, it's not. That's the only way great things can happen. You don't see Olympic athletes who, I work out for an hour or half an hour a day. No, they're working like 8+ hours, working out for 8+, like really, like they're obsessed with it. They have to be. And we like to praise the result, but we don't like to praise the way they got there. So I think we really need to shift our mindset around obsession. And really, once again, it's not something to be ashamed of, or it's not a disease. This is really a gift. And this is how we become successful.
I love that. And I can't remember if it's in this book or is Bob who talks about it, but we've talked about it before, about how people who are Olympic athletes, they're competing for 4 years and all these other things, and they're obsessed with this being an Olympian. And so everything else to them is like practice. All the other competitions, the world competitions, everything else to them, that's like practice. They train 8 to 12 hours a day. They eat super clean, everything down to the nines. They manage, they micromanage. They have plans, they have a vision, and they are obsessed to become an Olympian gold medalist for their country. And for 4 years, they will train and do all those other competitions, because practice makes permanent and practice makes perfect, right? And it's that obsession to be that Olympian for those 4 years that, like, some people just go and they compete in these regular competitions, these world competitions, right? But for some of these athletes, that's the practice run, right? That's how obsessed they are.
Absolutely. I love that.
I love that. Okay, so let's close her up. Any other tips or anything else you think that comes to your mind from the book?
So I was going to say, not from the book, but is it okay if we talk for a couple seconds about the conference?
Yes.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention about the book first before we jump over there? Because my brain's already on the conference.
No, bring it on. Thank you.
Yes, perfect. So as Heather mentioned, we were able to take in the 10X conference. It was at the beginning of March this year. Unfortunately, we didn't know that it was live. Otherwise, we could have went down to Miami in person, but next year. And what a phenomenal lineup. So I looked at everybody from like Tommy Hilfiger, Alex Rodriguez, Glenn Stearns, Bethany Frankel, like business moguls from every different walk of life and every different industry. It was really cool to hear like Drew Brees and Alex Rodriguez talk about previously athletes and then the huge conglomerates they've built after, which their sports success pales in comparison to what they've done off the field. But one that stands out for me a lot was Cindy Eckert, and she was so cool. I had never heard of her before, but she's actually a pharmaceutical CEO or president, I guess, and she created the female Viagra. And her story was so interesting. She's super smart. She had a vision. She knew she wanted to she would sell her patent for $1 billion. And she had offers that were extremely close, but not $1 billion. And she kept saying no. And her staff, kind of thought she was crazy, but she's like, no, I know that this is $1 billion. This is $1 billion product. I'm not going for anything less. She had that vision. A company ended up offering what she wanted. She was really smart though still, because she knew that she wanted this product to the market. She knew that it had a lot of value. So part of her selling the product was that the company had to launch it and market it and put it out to the public. So she got her $1 billion for her product. The company wanted to, or tried to, bury the female Viagra because they didn't want it to compete with their male Viagra. And they weren't actually legally able to do that. So she was able to actually keep the $1 million and get her
the billion dollars.
Thank you. The $1 billion and get her product and business back because they didn't hold up their end of the deal. And it was just such a cool story and just so empowering. Like this woman, she, like I said, vision, smart, and she didn't stop. She knew what she had to offer and she wanted to get it to the world, and she's going to get it there.
And she didn't let some big corporation run her over or try to screw her over or anything. Like, she held her ground. She knew what she wanted. She knew what she was up to. And that was the only thing that was going to happen, was what she wanted. That was it.
Laser focus.
Yeah, laser focus. Like, the vision is so incredible. And she just, her attitude, boom, like just such a powerful woman, and love it.
Yeah, her energy was incredible. If you ever have the opportunity to hear her speak, please jump at that, because they were all incredible speakers, but definitely she was one that stood out to me.
I love that. And
for you. Yeah.
I have a couple. I love Glenn Stearns. So Undercover Billionaire, he's the sweetest thing. He has been through hell and back himself, like survived cancer, built a multi-billion-dollar investing company, sold it, and then he wanted to prove to everyone that he could build $1 million business valuated at $1 million in 90 days. And he was shy of like 250,000, not even that. Like, I feel like that's pretty good in 90 days. And in that 90 days, he flipped a house, found out that it was like completely moldy, had to completely regut it, had so many people who worked with him and for him with no pay, just a vision. And he paid them out huge in the end. And it was all his leadership. And I loved how as soon as anyone was poisoned, he got rid of them, right? Like environment is key. There was somebody who had a sour attitude. She delivered, she made the best, because there was a barbecue house that they were doing like steak or ribs or whatever it was, but her attitude and her ability to manage stress, she couldn't do it. And then he, sits to talk with her and she fired herself. Like before you could even let her go, she like let herself go, because we have stories about ourselves, right? So she went in with the story, he's going to fire me. And before he could even do so, she let it go when he could, could have had a discussion and stuff. So I just loved him, his attitude, his mentality, the way he works with people, his vision, and his possibility to show other people what's possible. Because I think most people gave up, right? They're like, oh, it's too hard to earn $1 million. It's too hard to earn $1 billion. It's so hard to earn money. But the thing is, we just don't have the awareness of how to earn the money. So if you don't hang out with millionaires or speak to millionaires or study from millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires, then you're never going to be one. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself. And if you take their income and you take the sum and you divide it, the average of their income will also be your income. So if you're hanging out with employees that make less than 6 figures a year, you're going to be an employee who makes less than 6 figures a year, which is good because we need people to do all services, right? But are you looking for something more? Then you have to 10x your vision, 10x your action, 10x your goals, 10x you. So let's be obsessed with greatness. Let's be obsessed with what sets our soul on fire. And let's be obsessed with what life can look like and possibility. So we either live in possibility and what's possible, or we're living in fear. And so the fact of the matter is that every single thought you have is a choice. And you get to choose faith over fear every single second. You get to choose exceptional over average. You get to choose your results through your actions. But your actions are affected by the way you think. And the way you think is affected by the ideas in your mind. And the ideas in your mind are either yours and you're self-generating, and they're either for your goal or they're not. Or these ideas that are in your mind are implanted through subconscious programming through the rest of the world. First year psychology, they teach you the psychology of marketing. It takes 7 to 8 touches, 6 to 8 touches to have somebody. First time you don't really hear it, your mind checks it out. Second times it's like, oh, maybe that's important. Third time it starts to take it from like short-term to long-term memory and move it into your, like there's the whole science behind it. And so when you are being fear-mongered and you constantly have fear thrown in your face, then you're going to stay there. So you need to start to choose to hang around with and only allow in your mind the people and the thoughts and the ideas that are 10xing your results. And if it doesn't feel good, walk away. So are you ready to take your life and your results to the next level and 10x it? Because we have an opportunity for you today. You can come and join us in the Own It Mastermind community. It is a mastermind program with a community playing to 10x, playing to win, playing to expand, playing to build empires that run like well-oiled machines without us. So our business and our home and our life runs without us because we mind our mind and we create the results that we want, and we don't stop till it shows up. We see what we desire and we speak what we desire until we actually see it in real life. Okay? And so now you have an opportunity to jump into this program. Alli's an exceptional coach in the program. I am the founder and creator, and I am also a coach in the program. And we have other coaches as well. And we are here to offer you an opportunity to take your life and your business to the next level through a full holistic approach. Most people hire 3 coaches. Alli taught me this. I love this, guys. And that's why I created all of this, right? This is why this is a holistic program. So we do mindset, full wellness, help you become a high performer through all your habits. And then we give you business strategies and operations so you can actually scale your business online. Instead of hiring 3 coaches, this is your one-stop shop with live weekly coaching every single week, where you can get assistance. Plus, you have an accountability coach because you are your common denominator of success and you are the one thing stopping you from greatness. Plus, we give you a mastermind because your current thinking and ideas are getting you your current results. So you need to get into a mastermind at least twice a month to generate new ideas that you cannot on your own. And that's why a mastermind happens. And that's where my company built. And I have a new mastermind. It starts next week, and I'm super, super excited about it. We have some powerful people from all different business structures who are being coached all by different coaches so that we can bring all this information and knowledge together and like 10x everything this year. So guys, do you have a mastermind? Do you have a coach? Do you have a mentor? Are you learning? Are the people you hanging around with growing? Do they even think? Because if you want to add a 0 onto your income, onto your sales, maybe a few, you can't do or be what you are right now. So let's change. Let's transform. We are here to help and guide you every step of the way. Stop doing it on your own. It's going to take you 10 times longer. Right? So jump into the Own It Mastermind program with us and book a consult call with myself or Alli or anyone on our team. Go to ownitempire.com and you can go and check out our mastermind there. Alli, anything else to add before we close up? Where can they find and learn more about you?
Well, you can definitely connect through the Own It for to have that connect call. But also, you want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook. It's Alli Gage, ALLIGAGE. And yeah, guys, you may look around and not have the average of the 5 people. You may look at those 5 and be like, shoot, I don't have what's going to get me to the next level. This is where you can be surrounded by that next level people day in, day out that will help you get there.
Amazing, Alli. Thank you so much for being here, guys. We're so ready to help you be the new 1%, the new conscious thought world leaders who are building empires, transforming this world that is for the greater consciousness and for unity consciousness, because separation is an illusion, guys. We are all one and the same. So expect magic and miracles. Stay happy, healthy, wealthy, and may you live your best life. We will see you back here next week on the Own It Show.